Chris, yesterday said you were wary of first-round results.
Yep.
Seem to go that way.
Yeah, well, we've seen that this weekend, haven't we, with St Kilda last weekend, and they put in a great performance last night against Geelong, and West Coast today against us. And we've experienced that ourselves. So, yes, I don't take much notice. I knew that was coming today. I was a little bit disappointed that we weren't on our toes more in the first quarter for that onslaught, but I thought we showed maturity as a team to sort of recover that and end up winning the game. So, not our best performance though.
What was your message at quarter time?
Oh, well, the contest was the thing that was killing us. They were winning the ball out of the centre bounces, winning clearance and winning the contested possession. So their work rate from contest to contest was better than ours. And, fortunately we were able to pick that up after half-time and it looked a lot better. But that was the problem early days. From that, all the other things happened. So, no, credit to West Coast, they were ready.
What did you like about the performance, or I guess the fact that you're able to win again without being your best?
Yeah, well, I like the maturity that we displayed to do that, to not panic and to hang in there. Sometimes when that happens, it can stay with you for the whole game, but I thought we played with greater composure after half-time. Our ball use going inside 50 improved a lot. I think we took 3 marks in the first half in there and took 10 in the second half. So that part of our game tidied up and we did so much better at centre bounce. I think it was 10-3 at half-time their way. I think it finished up 13-all, so it was 10-3 the other way in the second half. So at this ground, centre bounce is incredibly important. We were fortunate they lost both their guys in the ruck. Bailey Williams went off the ground and then I think Reid was getting cramped pretty badly in the last quarter, but I thought Oscar showed great composure in there to actually take advantage of that fact. So, yeah, it was a pretty hot day, so there's a lot of cramps going on.
You've been obviously like a highly successful team for a long time, and teams come here and hoping to win and target you. Do you feel like this is like a little reminder that the premiers are a different beast? Like you're probably going to get the best shot from most clubs every week.
I think so. And I look at our first quarters the last 2 weeks. Our first quarters were astonishing last year. I think we run 23 or 24 for the season, which is probably some sort of record. And we haven't won a first quarter so far this year. And I don't think we've changed in any way about the way we get ready for games, but I think teams are throwing a lot at us early. So it's just one of those things you've got to get used to and return serve.
You talked about the Eagles guys cramping late. What did you make of the timing of the game and the conditions out there? Because it was pretty hot and pretty humid.
Yeah, it was hot and humid. Oh, look, it's a bit unusual to be playing a game at midday in Brisbane. It's always going to be hot, particularly early in the year. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I think it's pretty tough on players to expect them to be playing in the middle of the day like that. But you need to sort of ask the AFL about it. I don't think I've ever been involved in an AFL game that started at 12 o'clock, ever. That's 20 odd years, so unusual, but ask the AFL.
How did the players have that fare? Like, did you get an idea when they walked off how tough it was for them?
Yeah, they were pretty cooked. And so you could tell just walking out on the ground afterwards, players from both teams were absolutely exhausted. Probably a record number of cramps, I don't know. I haven't seen that many of our blokes struggle with that like they did today. So we've had 2 hot games in a row now, so I'm not sure we'll be doing too much training this week. We might be recovering and trying to get ready for Geelong.
So this forward line you've got at the moment has been a bit sort of dysfunctional the first couple of weeks because of guys coming in and out. What did you make of today? Particularly your tall setup, I guess. Yeah,
I think both weeks we managed to have 24, 25, 26 shots. So that's been okay. And there's been quite a large number of personnel go through there in the 2 weeks that we've played. So it's hard to get a gauge on it. I looked up there at times today and it was a bit unrecognisable from the forward line that we had last year. But when Joey retires and you lose Kai and you lose Charlie to injury, it's always going to look a little bit different. At the end of the day, Logan Morris has kicked 3, which is great. Will McLaughlin kicked a couple in his first game, which was terrific. Eric got going after half-time. So did Cal. So I think Charlie and Kai will be available again next week, so it might have a bit more of a familiar look. But we're finding ways to win without necessarily having continuity with personnel in our front half. Hopefully we can get that as we go along into the season. I thought Sam Day, you look at his numbers and go, didn't get a lot of the ball, but Jeremy McGovern took one intercept mark today, which was a big part of Sam's job. So McGovern usually does a fair bit more than that. So I think that was a little win for us. And I thought Jack Payne did a great job on Oscar Allen, who's a big threat up forward for them. I don't think he scored a goal, did he? One, did he? One?
The fifth one that bounced it.
Oh, okay, yeah. And, you know, Josh Dunkley sort of tried to do some work on Harley Reid around stoppage, and you know, Harley didn't have a huge influence. So the blokes that we wanted to sort of keep quiet, I think we did that. And I thought after half-time, it looked more like the way we play when we play at our best. So, you know, uncontested marks, winning contest, pressure was good, all those things.
Can I just ask you about Jasper Fletcher? Like he's obviously had a big pre-season. Like seemed to have improved a lot. You've moved him around a little bit. Like, what have you seen from him?
Yeah, it's all part of his football education. But we actually liked him at halfback. We played him in a practice game there, the one we had just before the cyclone hit, and he did pretty well there. He's a good ball user, really good overhead. He's got a good tank, so I can play on those half forwards that run all the way up and down the ground pretty well. He looks composed there, so it's good that he can play wing. It's good that he can play halfback, and I've got a sneaking suspicion he's probably going to make a pretty good inside midfielder at some point in time. So it's all part of his education as a player and us trying to develop versatility as a team.
How's Stas? How's he doing?
Yeah, I don't know completely, but he was at the game today, so that's a positive step because I haven't seen him all week. He's going to take a little bit of time. The most important part is his health, and that he does make a full recovery. We won't rush him. Just got our fingers crossed that he'll be okay. But certainly, it was good to chat to him today before the game, and he seemed up and about, so that's good.
So is that like an undetermined period of time?
Yeah, I think so. I think the club's just doing getting a range of tests and things done so that you know, hopefully we can clear the decks on where he's at with that, and you know, when the time's right, he'll hopefully play again. So we're optimistic, but got to tick all the boxes first, and that's not the AFL telling us to do. That is us saying it to ourselves. You know, it's pretty important.
A couple of goals for Will on first game.
Yeah, it's good for him.
Yeah.
He's a nice kick for goal. You know, it's not a bad effort in your first game to kick a couple. He's a good story, you know, mid-season draft last year, impressed us all in the second half of the year. He's had a super pre-season. He actually kicked 10 goals in 2 practice games leading into his selection this week. He kicked 6 in the A's versus B game that we played before the cyclone, and he played in the Bs, and then he kicked 4 when he came down to Sydney with us last week, and then he kicked 4 when he came back on Saturday in the practice game against Gold Coast. So he knows how to kick it through the big sticks, and he proved it today in an AFL game. So I think he's got a bright future. I mean, it's not easy to get into our team as a small forward, and the one thing you didn't really see from him today is what a good mark he is overhead, but that'll come to the fore at some point in time as well.
Apologies you've been asked this in recent weeks, but you've been linked to Oscar Allen as a free agent. With that forward setup that he's had, do you feel like he'd be a good guy to come in and help complement the guys like Hipwood, that if he could manage to lure him over?
Oh, look, there's a lot of good forwards that we'd welcome into our footy club. So I know we're having a look around. Can't be specific about that, but we're certainly in the market for a big tall forward, and we're also trying to develop our own that we've got here. You know, Ty Gallup in the reserves, and you know, I thought Eric got going in the second half today, which was good to see. Logan Morris, probably a bit scratchy, but he ends up kicking 3 goals. So, you know, we've got some good resources here at our own club that we're focusing on developing at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.